Welcome to another episode of the Nigerian Theatre Witnesses to History on the Tunde Laniyo podcast. It's the program in which we bring Nigerian theatre practitioners in every area of theatre to you to, in their own words, in their own language, in their own voice, talk to you about what they did in the Nigerian theatre that contributed to its growth and development in the last 30, 40, 50, 60 years, so that we can see where the foundation for theatre had been laid and how we have been traveling on that road. Last week we started on an exciting journey with a man who served the Nigerian theatre as a lecturer for over 40 years at the premier university, the University of Ibadan. And we had started with his journey from when he was in primary and secondary school and how he had gone on to be an excellent student who won awards and who was thought to have had undue advantage, but Cambridge University proved them wrong and was affirmed in what the teachers at Igbobi had noticed in him and had credited him for. I'm talking of Professor Mathew Umukoro. And we left last week on a very great note when he recalled how stunned his students at the Reverend Kuti Memorial School were when they discovered, after thinking that he couldn't speak or understand Yoruba for a long time, and then he spoke Yoruba in the class. After they had been mischievous with him, some of them abused him, and that's where we are going to take off from again. So, did you punish anyone?
No, not at all, because I was playing a game.
We welcome you to another edition of the program. And where did you get your Yoruba from? You deceived them. Umukoro, how did you get to be speaking all the Yoruba that the children could not even detect because of your own adroitness in oral English?
Yes, my accent and everything was very perfect.
Yes.
So there was no way they could have detected that I spoke Yoruba at all. But the truth is that as I did Yoruba in school start.
You did?
So it was not just a question of learning it, picking it on the street.
On the street. You were a student of Yoruba.
And when I was taking the prize for English.
Yes.
Every year. No one
contested
that with me.
Yeah.
At the African Church Grammar School.
Yeah, I mean African Church Grammar School.
They had abandoned that. There was
nobody was competing.
But I was also, said to be very, very poor in mathematics. And
they said so, or
the principal
said so.
Always made me the example of
somebody
how bad
it could be
in mathematics.
Oh.
Now, it wasn't that I didn't have the
capacity for
learning.
Yes.
But I never sat down any single day to learn mathematics. And since I was the first, not the eldest in this school, but the first to go to the secondary school.
Yes.
I had nobody in the house
that you could depend on
that could
to help you.
But I was interested in writing essays. No one told me to do that. It was a natural, instinct.
Yes.
I got an exercise book. I would start writing essays.
Without being told to do so from school?
Fill my own fill up the exercise book.
Yeah.
And then a few years later, I'll be correcting myself.
Oh.
When I'll be reading the thing, I will say I made a mistake here. You know.
That's right.
Such that.
And you were not thinking of being a teacher, but you were behaving like a teacher even at that.
You know, such that I eventually came up with what I called a magazine.
Oh.
Because I could type.
How did you learn that?
That was one thing that gave me an advantage. I could type right from when I was 14.
Right.
1964.
Right.
I could. My own elder brother.
Yes.
Went into
commercial school. Oh, okay.
And
they always had that advantage
he was
of learning
always
to type.
going to a commercial institute.
Yes.
To learn
typing and shorthand.
Yes. And my father bought a typewriter.
Right.
For him.
Right.
To learn at home.
Okay.
But somehow he said he preferred the bigger typewriters.
Okay.
That
the one they used at the institute.
So that typewriter became free for me. So without going to any institute, I started ASDF.
Yes, semicolon LKJ.
On my own.
Yeah.
There was a book.
Yes.
How to type or whatever it was, you know, that I was following.
I also used that.
You know, and I started to learn to type in the normal way, not picking. Well, my fingers, you see me typing now, with my fingers.
Yeah.
You know.
Right.
ASDF LKJ. You know. So it's not I didn't but I didn't go to any
commercial
school. And I now started to use typing. In fact, most of my letters in those days were typed.
Really?
Yes, I would type my letters, you know. Yeah. And
the letter you took to Mama Kuti, did you type it?
I must have. Yes, I must have.
Your late application?
Yes. I must have. You know, I was very good at that. And so, coming to the Yoruba thing,
yes.
I was learning Yoruba.
Right.
I in Form 5, the final year.
Yes.
I took the first prize in Yoruba.
No, how did you manage that?
Yeah, that's the thing. I told you it's one of the subjects.
Yes.
Then the principal. No, there was nothing he didn't say to this. He said it online, in the public, during what do you call it? Assembly and everything.
Right.
He abused hell out of the entire
You took the prize from them?
First prize. You know, they were so. And when I did the school cert, I had A3 in it. So it started.
Yoruba?
Yeah. So those students I was now teaching at Kudi Memorial Grammar School were not aware of all that.
Yes.
This was part of my past that I was bringing into
their school,
so
to their lives.
You know, I told my colleagues in school then, when they found that I was excelling in Europe, I said, look, you people believe that's your language. But to me, it's a subject.
Yes, it is.
And that's the truth. I said, there are things to learn.
Yes.
Kori, Orishaoko,
yes.
all sorts of things. There are things to be learned.
Yes.
It's not just.
That's why it's a subject.
Yes, it's not just you're speaking it among yourself and
experiencing it.
You know, I said, they were saying to me. So I was learning those things.
Right.
And that's why, and then of course, if you are good in English, your Yoruba would also be good.
I believe
In
you.
fact, in any language, if you are good in English,
yes.
you know.
I believe you.
Yes.
In fact, that's what I always
Yes.
tell people.
Yes.
Let your children speak your language.
Yes.
Or they will be naturally good in English.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
it's a foundation that
Yes.
can't be
Yes.
shaken.
So that was what happened as far as that is concerned.
So let's start with Shakespeare at the African Church Grammar School.
Yeah.
What other place did you?
Well, they
participate
didn't really. We were doing
in?
mostly school texts. You
Okay,
know, WAEC,
that's right.
whatever
that's right.
WAEC recommended.
Recommended at that time. Okay.
We will try to see how we could
Turn it into something that
can
be visually pleasing and they can learn from.
So it's part of the whole process.
Interpretation.
We didn't go outside and start to look for plays or say literature
Okay.
or an African plays and all that. No. We are more interested
In
in
the
plays,
school text.
in school texts, you know. So
That was mostly the way it happened in school
you know,
at that time.
You know, and we were that was why when I was speaking about foot lighting, when you put the lights
Yes.
on the stage,
Yes.
facing the actors,
Yes.
you know, which Craig and the rest of them, you know, spoke against.
That's right.
Yes, in the 60s, 70s, we still met foot lighting. And the thing will be going straight to the eyes of the actors.
That's
and everything.
true. That's true.
You know, but that was what our knowledge, you know,
was at the time.
yes, at
was
that
the way
time.
to go.
That was how it took us. You know, until now we had to start
Mountain lights and things like that. I remember that even some of the traveling theater groups, Ogunde, Doladipo, they also had those footlights.
Yes, you know,
for their performances.
It was. We were far behind. You know, that shows, you know, the development
of theater in Nigeria.
Yes, you know, that was a stage of development.
Yes, yes.
You know, and you know, at that time, theater was only stage.
Yes, yes, yes,
you know,
yes. TV in Ibadan. I was doing any form of theater through the 1960 masks.
Yes. You know.
The rest.
Yeah, that's right.
Now, who were the lecturers or teachers in secondary school who inspired you, motivated you to participate in drama? Can you recollect any of them? And perhaps any of the other students with whom you participated in drama at that time?
The main person that with regard to English, you know, was one prince called Prince Bugwadi. Akin Bugwadi. He was very good in English and oral English.
Right.
And it was my great, inspirer, so to speak. And he loved the way I wrote, and of course there was one lady. I still remember her name, Okoje.
Okay.
Miss Okoje. Who was my quote-unquote rival in English. But I had some kind. I had an edge over her.
Okay.
You know, but she was very good too.
Right.
And the other teacher,
Did she also participate in drama as well?
of course she did.
Oh, she did.
Yeah, she did. you
Okay.
know. Those of us who are in English
Right.
automatically found ourselves
In drama.
in drama.
Okay.
You know.
Okay.
So there was also one. It was Mr. Akomolibi.
Oh, okay.
He was my class teacher
Okay.
in Form 4.
Oh, okay.
And that's why I want us to be careful what you write or say about your students.
Mm-hmm.
Because the thing that really made me so close to him
Right.
was one of his remarks in my report
Okay.
as a class teacher.
Yes.
He made a remark and ended up with saying that, in his own opinion, I was a very good student.
Right.
Whereas some will say, this one, if you say 2 plus 2, you will say 5.
Mm.
And it was because, since I wasn't doing the sciences,
Right.
I know we had to do them at the
Yes.
earlier stage.
Yes.
Anyway.
Up to Form 3.
Yeah. And after I would have got my high marks in the arts,
Mm.
I would get all my rotten marks,
And then they will want to
And
bring
everything will
your
bring it
average down.
you know. So I wasn't really seen as a brilliant student.
Mm.
And that's
I can imagine.
context,
Yes.
you know. I wasn't, all they knew was that the English is English.
Yes.
Don't argue with it.
Mm.
That's all they know. But whether I was a brilliant student. So what happened at Ibobi was extraordinary.
Mm.
Yeah, it was.
Mm.
What happened at Ibobi started manifesting when I got to Form 5. I
Right.
came first for the first time.
Right.
I
Oh,
came first for the first
in
time.
your exam in school.
In the school.
Right.
I came first. I led the entire class for
Ooh.
the first time. After I had dropped physics, dropped chemistry,
Yeah,
dropped mathematics, dropped
all
this,
the excess weights.
Yes, and I have faced,
Arts and
Arts.
social science subjects.
you know, and what many people may not realize is that if your English is very solid,
Yes.
you don't have any problem with all the other subjects.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it is a question of expressing yourself.
Yes. Understanding
Yes.
this
And-
subject matter and
yes.
then expressing yourself.
And if two of you, you know, answer the same question,
Yes.
the other person who has read deep into the subject
Subject.
brings up like 10 solid points,
Mm.
but is managing to communicate.
Mm.
Mm? But you have 5
Yes.
points on your own side, just 5.
Yeah.
And the way you put those 5, the teacher will just be shaking his head like this.
Yeah.
There is no how that she can give you the same mark.
With
As
the
the
other
other
person who couldn't
Yeah.
communicate.
So, English language was very central to my success,
Right.
you know,
Right.
in my pre-tertiary
Education.
yeah, it was. You know.
So no wonder you went into read English.
Yeah, I went there,
Ibadan.
you know. In fact, some of my friends, I'm talking of close friends,
Okay.
you know, always came to me to assist them with English.
Mm.
You know, there was one particular one. He had got all the A's and whatever it is
Yes.
He went to Polytechnic. No, he hadn't gone to Polytechnic.
Okay.
He wanted to gain admission to Polytechnic.
Right.
He had got all the qualifications needed except English.
Mm-mm.
He never got English. So he came. That 1969.
Right.
I told him, okay. He said he had believed that Waek had penciled his name.
That he wasn't going anywhere with English.
They just saw that name.
Yeah.
They wouldn't even look at his. They would just return. They would just return F9. He said he was quite sure of that. I said, don't be too sure. So go and buy an exercise book. So he bought an exercise book. I asked him, I gave him an essay topic. Go and write an essay. So when he came, and I took red Bible, and he was not able to see even his own black something again. I said,
you smeared his paper.
I said,
that is you.
This is why
will
never give you anything other than F9. So I said, you know, one of the reasons why you make mistakes is that you do not know the rules of the language. Said language has rules.
All right. So if you don't know it, you can't apply it.
No. So I then started pointing out those rules for him as I was correcting his essays. And by the time I was going to this university, because he had entered for GC for that year again, and it was about 3 months
to the exam
when I started with him. He finished the exercise book, and he started improving from one essay to the other. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then at the end of it all, after I left, the exam was still ahead.
Yes.
He was writing and sending the thing to me in school.
To look at.
In UI.
Oh.
Yes. To look at, and I will
correct. You send it back.
Send it back to him and things like that.
By post.
By post. You know. So when he went in for the exam that year, he just cleared his English.
He did?
Yeah, I said, see. You said they put your name down. I said, I don't want the paper where they put your name down.
It's like students say.
So he then got admission to Poly.
Right.
From Poly, he got admission to what was his name again?
Middlesbrough?
No, Middlesbrough. You know. Anyway, he did the postgraduate because he didn't do the first degree.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. After the Polytechnic.
And then was equally admitted later. I think he did masters.
Okay.
Did masters. After that, he did masters, and then
the PhD.
The PhD. That year of his PhD defense, I happened to be in London too.
Okay.
That was when I was there for my postdoctoral fellowship. You know. And well, he was sending something to me.
Right. Still there?
Yes. I read his PhD thesis, house planning.
Right.
You know, that was his area. So I wasn't concerned about the content.
Yes.
I mean
the technical.
I was concerned about his language. So I helped him to dust off everything. And the day he defended, I was there. You know.
That's right.
You know, to witness that occasion.
And he succeeded?
Very well.
Oh.
And started teaching at Futa. That was where he retired.
Okay.
Retired from there.
At this point again, we must come to an end of this episode of the Nigerian Theatre Witnesses to History. Now our 2 feet are on the ground for our witness, Professor Mathew Umukoro. He's made so many things happen, even on his way to his area in theater. And even though he himself didn't see all of that at the time, just like he said he never thought of ever becoming a teacher, one could begin to see how that was coming together, how he was making an impact in the progress and lives of other people, even through his intervention in communication and in analysis of their efforts. And that's the area of his strength that he will bring to bear also on the Nigerian theater. This is a good point for us to say thank you for now, and we'll come back again to continue our story when we come back next week. Until then, continue to tick the like and share button, share with other people. Let them hear this interesting story of the contribution of this great giant of the Nigerian theater, Professor Mathew Umukoro. Like I said, he served the University of Ibadan for over 40 years before retiring, and he's just passed his 75th birthday. He has so much more to give. Like I said, he's also an author, he's also a playwright, and he was chairman of the Association of Nigerian Authors at the time. We still have exciting things to come your way with. And until we come your way again next week, you can send comments and you can send your observations. Until then, it's bye from me.